and we have let member homes know of that. One local board input, we have Izzy here, all the way from Aotea Great Barrier. Did you want to come forward, Izzy? I think you have Markere and Chris with you. If you just want to introduce yourself and introduce yourselves. We have a presentation and this fantastic booklet that we've all been given out. Kia ora, nice to see you here. Thank you for coming.
Kia ora, thank you very much for the opportunity, Chair, and welcome and good morning to you all, Mr Mayor, Chair, Councillors, Independent Māori Statutory Board and staff. I'm here to introduce you to Markere Jenna, who is the project lead on a very exciting project that's mana whenua led on Aotea, and it's called Tū Mai Taonga. We only have limited time, so I'm going to stop babbling and hand over to Markere to tell you all about this project. Markere.
Ko hiraki mata te maunga, ko te moana nui o te moana, ko Ngāti Reho Ngāti Waiki Aotearoa, ko Ngāti Kahunga Ngā Iwi. Kia ora, I'm Markere and I'm the project lead for Tū Mai Taonga, which is an ambitious conservation project on Aotea, led by mana whenua. And what we're aiming to do is to remove all feral cats and rats from Aotea. And that's not an easy task to get started on. In fact, once we remove the last feral cat from Aotea, Tū Mai Taonga will be the largest of successful feral cat eradication on an inhabited island in the world. And this is how we'll do it. For feral cats, we're going to roll down the island in zones, implementing an intensive trapping network. The map on the left shows our zones, the map on the right shows how intense that trapping network is. It's not feasible right now to eradicate rats from Aotea, so we are trialling different methods on the smaller outer islands, they're coloured blue, to determine what can and should be implemented at a landscape scale on Greater Aotea. This is just a close-up of our Te Paparahi block where we are currently doing a knockdown of feral cats on Māori customary land. Technology is an absolute must in a project that is this ambitious. Kieran here is standing in front of our GIS dashboard. GIS helps us to do anything from plotting trapping networks on a map to logging field team hours. Another really important game-changing tool for the project is remote monitoring. Dane here is installing a remote monitoring node on a feral cat trap, and in a nutshell what that does for the project is decrease our trapping hours required by 90% or more. Sean and Keanu here are two of the 30 workers that the project has onboarded since its start, making the project one of the largest employers on the island right now, which is really cool. More than half of our workers are mana whenua, and many of those have been able to return home and re-establish on Aotea because of the employment and training opportunities that the project has on offer. The project is delivering meaningful training to these people, to these workers, real career pathways, and they are gaining qualifications that a lot of them would never have gone for and didn't see as a pathway for them before they came into the project. Out of necessity, we are upskilling workers who are very new to conservation and in some cases new to the workforce period, which is very inspiring and as you can imagine, very challenging. So watch the space because I think Tū Mai Taonga is going to be a model for how we build a conservation workforce from the ground up. I'm honoured and privileged to be a part of this work because I am Ngāti Reho Ngāti Waiki Aotea. My whānau have my whānau have kept the home fires burning for 800 years. Fact checked that last night with my cousin, and I'm my grandfather's only granddaughter there on the land, and our whānau harbours a deep sense of shame for the things that have slipped through our fingers. Our language, our culture, and the health of our environment. So we are dead serious about this work, and we are dead serious about getting it done and getting it done right. This is my Uncle Opa and Auntie Elaine, and They're pictured here with Penny Nelson, Director General, with pure joy on their faces, as real smiles, because Penny came to the island and sat down and listened to them and made them feel heard. Auckland Council, whether you know it or not, has recently entered into a partnership agreement with Tū Mai Taonga through Environmental Services, a partnership agreement that is based on mutual trust, respect and understanding. The partnership with Tū Mai Taonga can and should be a model for how Auckland Council partners with mana whenua to help them, to enable them to deliver conservation at place. That's how it goes. So when you're considering long-term plan decisions, remember Tū Mai Taonga. This is important work. Remember how important it is for Council to partner with us. Our understanding is that the most feasible way for Auckland Council to be the main funding partner for the project that we are asking you to be is through increased NETA funding. If that is the case, please ensure that that happens. Questions?
Oh, kia ora. That was a little more getting me in the feels than I was expecting at the beginning of our meeting. So thank you so much for, and never feel any concern about showing some emotion at this table. This is fantastic, phenomenal, and thank you for showing us how it affects you personally, but also that 800-year legacy that you're trying to bring forward, you are bringing forward, and you know, putting up the wero to us to continue to support this work and increase it. So I think there will be some questions. Councillor Leone.
Tēnā koe koroa, and ngā mihi nui ki a koe makere, and ngā mihi to the local board for this brave work that you're doing, working with mana whenua. We know that mana whenua and Māori in general are leading the way in so many parts of this council, and we need to continue to do that mahi and working in partnership. My question is just that I can see that it's working at the local board level. I just wanted to also ask you, have you thought about any kind of partnership agreements the next level up, like with Barry, like have you had any korero with Barry Potter and things like that around environmental services? Kia ora.
Kia ora. So these meetings sort of with Penny, the likes of Penny Nelson, Director General, and the partnership agreement and the relationship that we're developing with environmental services is giving our kaumātua and our mana whenua the confidence to start putting themselves out there and investing in relationships. We haven't met with Barry Potter, but I'll do a meeting later today. He's available.
Ka pai. Thank you again for the great mahi you're doing, and for all of your whānau that have moved back there. Absolutely understand the need for mana whenua to come back to their rohe and to work in these spaces. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Councillor Dalton, Deputy Chair.
Tēnā kōrua, Izzy and Makri. What an amazing project. I read the agenda and I thought, holy moly, that's ambitious. But now that you're sitting in front of me, or us, I can see how this has every right to be a success, and what amazing, amazing stories about whānau coming home to where they belong. So I can see you're very proud and humbled by the work that you're doing. Can you tell me what sort of costings are you looking at for this project, just as we talk in terms of the LTP? Thank you.
So we've costed the project out to the end of 2033, and we've built 3 years of biosecurity into the tail end of that. Our average cost per year will be $3 million, and we're asking Council to be a 50% funding partner, and we'll seek the rest of the funding.
Thank you very much. All the best.
Kia ora, Councillor Turner. Right.
Thank you. Just a question on the practical application. You know, you talk about cats and rats, which are kind of connected to a degree. So if you're eradicating the cats without taking much notice of the rats, well, that's how I understood it. Like, wouldn't it?
I know where you're going.
Yeah.
So our operations plan is based on a feasibility study, and that study explored that deeply. This, the model on Aotea Great Barrier Island for the rat and cat relationship is a bottom-up model. Like it works bottom-up. So the feral cat population thrives on what it eats. The rat population thrives on what it eats, not what eats it. So no, we're not going to have huge negative biodiversity effects if we remove cats and don't manage to remove the rats.
Just as a follow-up, I think it's worth noting as well that we're quite blessed. We only have feral cats and rats. We don't have stoats or anything else, no other mustelids, no possums, no anything. So for us, it's quite good in that space.
So my question was because as a trapper, well, my wife is on our property in the Waitakuris and stuff. When you remove so you've kind of answered that, because the rats are not a substantial part of the cat's diet. Is that what you're saying?
No, there are much yummier things in the bush. But more importantly, the cats don't keep rat numbers in control at all.
Okay, thank
you. Mike, you had a question?
Sorry, there's a... Councillor Lee first.
It's just a mihi really. Kia ora makere and kia ora Izzy, ngā mihi mahana ki a korua. Congratulations on your mahi. As the acting chair, founding trustee of the Motu Kaikoura Trust, I appreciate the challenge, and we're still battling out there. So please pass on my best wishes to the team, and please pass on my best wishes to Rangatira Opo, and I look forward to catching up with him soon to discuss this and other matters. Thank you.
Kia ora, Mike. I think he's listening in, so.
Kia ora. Thank you, Councillor Lee. Member Ashby.
Kia ora, Izzy and Makere. Thank you for the presentation, and congrats on what looks like and sounds like an amazing kaupapa. So, yeah, well done. My question, similar to Councillor Dalton, is around what support you need from Council going forward. So, thanks, you've kind of already answered that, but I'm interested in the comment about the Neta Fund and the importance of that with projects like this, and using what you've done as a model for, particularly I'm thinking of the Hanua and the iwi there, and also in Waitakere, in terms of building that capacity and capability while tackling the pest problem as part of the broader, you know, we want all these places to be pest-free 2050, hopefully. And so, yeah, just a question about that, but otherwise, just to acknowledge all the mahi, and yeah, kia ora.
Kia ora. So what we're really needing from Auckland Council, aside from putea or money, and our advice that it is most likely to come out of Neta increase, it comes out of environmental services, maybe it can come from other places, Māori Outcomes Committee. Aside from that, biosecurity is going to be huge, is essential to an eradication. So we need to be working closely with council when you're developing your next RPMP to be able to get things like bylaws in place that are going to restrict the movement of cats across the Gulf, because without very robust biosecurity, and eradication is an absolute waste of time.
Kia ora, thank you, Member Ashby. Councillor Darby.
Kia ora, Makere and Izzy. It does touch my heart, this project. All power to you. It's remarkable, and I look forward to visiting. Feral cats, and I've got a small project of my own in this area. Feral cats are invariably domestic cats of recent, or at least the offspring of domestic cats. And so you've got also a resident population which has probably got their domestic cats, and I know from experience that domestic cats can range quite a few kilometres, particularly in the evening when bird life is very vulnerable. So can you tell us about that relationship with those that might love their tabby, and how we bring them on board and let them know that their tabby does range? It does range, there's no question about it, there's lots of science there. So can you just tell us about that relationship with those that love their domestic cat, that maybe don't think it is going to become anything other than that cuddly soft thing at the bottom of the couch?
Kia ora. I can go on and on about how integral pet cats are to New Zealand life. They're actually very important companion animals, especially for the elderly and people who are, you know, homebound and things like that. So cats have a place in our hearts, and they will always be in New Zealand. As far as keeping your pet cats safe, we're live trapping, and so we'll be able to identify owned cats and be able to differentiate them from feral cats, and we'll be bringing owned cats home. In the northern bush, we've got a really good practice ground because there are about 5 owned cats anywhere near that area, and we know all the owners and have good relationships, but we are definitely hugely mindful of making sure we are protecting owned cats. This project is about removing feral cats to keep the environment healthy. Owned cats are not what's decimating our northern bush or our bush on Aotea, it's ferals.
So, and just further to that, Councillor Darby, we actually have a cat library where people who own domestic cats are encouraged to take a photo, that's held on record, and then matched up accordingly.
Our GIS network tells trappers if they're anywhere near the home of an owned cat, and it has a picture of the cat shown up on their phone.
Kia ora. Councillor Ferry.
Thanks. Yeah, my question was very similar to Councillor Darby, so I'll leave it, but I just want to say thank you for the dose of hope. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, I've added a C around request staff to discuss future funding needs and I think it's, we'll change that around because it's funding needs within the council whānau, but also we need to advocate as a body to central government because my understanding is this has been funded for the Jobs for Nature, but it's likely that funding will cease. Have you had a definite that funding will cease, or are you trying to?
We've had a definite don't get your hopes up for any more.
Right, not great. So we will advocate to central government it is a shame to see some of these, what are very long-term, nature doesn't enjoy a 1 year or 2 year project, it kind of has to be ongoing. So it is disappointing to see some of that Jobs for Nature funding show itself as very short-term. So we will advocate to the new minister and any officials who will listen as well to continue this very clear outcome-focused work, which has lots of benefits for people as well as environment.
I'm happy to come with you to that meeting. I can do this over and over again.
I think I would like that.
I'll go wherever you need.
Kia ora. So I'll get, I think Councillor Lee wanted to move and Councillor Leone would like to second. Just once again, thank you. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your showing us your whānau and your people, but also the focus on the environment and restoring the whenua and te taiao. So thank you so much. And thanks, Izzy. I know that it's a big trip to get here, but it's been really awesome to have you here and to show the successes, but we will do our best to advocate. And this councillors will have to focus on how we, increase that net of funding or look to other ways to ensure there are budgets for this. So it is up to all of us collectively to work with the public and listen to the public and hopefully get some increased funding through the 10-year budget as well. But obviously we can't promise that through this committee, but is a challenge you've set for us. So thank you very much. All those in favour? Any opposed? Of course not. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Kia ora, please reach out to me if you have more than a passing curiosity about this project, as he's got my number. We need to have a conversation.
And thank you very much for your time and the support from Environmental Services.
Thank you. Right. So on to, so there are no extraordinary items. We'll go straight to the adoption of the future